Okay, welcome everyone to this deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're stepping into, well, the pretty shadowy world of H.G. Wells.
The Red Room, a classic short story.
Exactly. That's our source material today,
Ah.
and it's one of those stories that really flips the whole idea of a haunting.
Oh, it really does. You start with this narrator who's, well, he's the picture of skepticism, isn't he?
Totally. Young guy, 28.
And he comes right out and says it. It will take a very tangible ghost to frighten me.
He's never seen one, feels pretty sure of himself, ready to take on superstition with pure rationalism.
And he's specifically going into Lorraine Castle, heading for the Red Room, the infamous one.
The one everyone knows is haunted.
Right. But before he even gets to the room itself, he meets the custodian.
Oh, the custodians.
Yeah.
Wills paints such a picture of them, doesn't he?
He really does. There are three incredibly old people.
Yeah.
There's a man with a withered arm, then an old woman who just stares like blankly into the fire.
So unsettling.
And then another old man, this one with a shade over his eyes, kind of bent over, coughing constantly.
And the descriptions Wells uses are just, yeah, deeply unsettling. They're gaunt silences, he calls them.
Yeah, their bent carriage, just this general air of, well, unfriendliness.
He even says they appear inhuman in senility. It's strong stuff.
And they really pile on the dread, you know? Even though the narrator kind of suspects they might be playing it up a bit.
But their warnings are so specific. That man with the arm keeps saying, "It is your own choosing."
Looking at him strangely while he says it.
And the old woman chips in with that whisper, "This night of all nights." Chilling.
So you've got this setup. Supremely confident, modern young man.
Right.
Versus these ancient, almost like archetypal figures of dread.
And he's heading into the room, the one steeped in dark legends.
Exactly. So our mission then for this deep dive.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
We're following him. We're going into the Red Room with our narrator, seeing what happens.
Seeing how that skepticism holds up.
Right. And crucially, figuring out what he discovers the next morning. What Wells is really saying about the haunting.
Because it's not what you might expect. What can this classic tale still tell us, about fear, about perception?
It's got a lot to say. Okay, so narrator grabs his candle.
Just one candle at first.
Just one. Heads down this dark, echoing corridor. He gets to the Red Room. And it's huge, right? Big, imposing space.
Full of shadows, dusty red hangings everywhere.
And he knows the stories. The legend of the young duke who died there violently.
After trying to stay the night, just like him.
And even older stories, something about a countess.
But he's determined at this point to keep that scientific attitude of mind he brought with him.
So he starts walking around, checking behind the furniture, tapping the panels on the wall.
Trying to ground himself like this is just a room. Wood, plaster, fabric.
But Wells is brilliant here. He shows how the physical checks aren't quite enough against the sheer atmosphere of the place.
Yeah, that impalpable quality, as he calls it. It starts to creep in.
The quiet isn't just quiet anymore. It's too stimulating for the imagination.
Ooh, good line.
And the shadows aren't just shadows. They're deeper, remoter darkness, almost like they have substance.
And you see the first real crack in his confidence forming, right? His immediate reaction isn't rational thought, it's...
Light. More light.
Exactly. He finds some candles already in the room, a few by the mirrors, some on the mantelpiece.
Maybe 7 altogether at this point?
Something like that. But even then, the shadows seem to, resist, push back.
He even catches his reflection, sees his own face looking white. That startles him.
So what does he do? He needs more light.
He actually goes all the way back to the custodian's room, finds 10 more candles.
10 more. So now he's got, 17?
17 candles.
Wow.
And he starts placing them methodically. Everywhere.
Window recesses, on the floor, corners.
Trying to illuminate every single patch of darkness. He feels better doing this, the activity, the steady burning. It gives him something concrete.
It's like he's building a fortress of light. You'd think 17 candles would do the trick, right? Banish anything lurking.
You would think. He's got this little island of brightness in this huge dark room, but Wells tells us, even with all that light...
The feeling doesn't go away.
No. That brooding expectation of the vigil weighed heavily. He's checking his watch, waiting for midnight, maybe. The classic haunting hour.
And then it starts.
Yeah, the lights, they begin to go out.
But not like they're burning down normally.
No, not flickering out. It's sudden. Wells describes it so well, as if the wick had been suddenly nipped between a finger and thumb.
Boof. Black. No noise.
And it's systematic, isn't it? Terrifyingly so.
First one goes, then two near the fireplace.
Then the ones in the mirrors just wink and go right out.
One after another, they just keep vanishing. The ones on the mantle, the wardrobe.
Even one he just relit, it goes out again.
It's like a noiseless volley, he says.
Yeah.
His whole careful arrangement just collapses.
And so does his composure. He's scrambling, leaping, panting from candle to candle.
Fumbling with matches, grabbing candlesticks, trying to relight them.
He's literally fighting a battle against the returning dark, the very thing he tried so hard to banish.
The shadows returned, he says, and crept in upon me. You can feel the panic rising.
He starts stumbling around, bumping into things in his haste, knocking furniture over. He even drops his own candle in the chaos.
So the darkness is winning. Fast.
His last hope is the fireplace. There's still a fire burning in the grate.
A little bit of light left.
He turns towards it, takes maybe 2 steps, and then incontinently the flames dwindled and vanished. The glow vanished.
No. Oh, man.
Total
blackness. And the way Wells writes it, darkness closed upon me like the shutting of an eye.
Wrapped about me in a stifling embrace, sealed my vision, and crushed the last vestiges of self-possession. Just gone.
And it's not just that the lights are out. It's the feeling that comes with it.
Intolerable terror, he calls it. Pure, overwhelming panic.
He loses all sense of where he is, starts screaming.
Running blindly, just crashing into furniture. He mentions getting a heavy blow upon my forehead.
Ouch.
Then he feels himself falling, and just loses consciousness.
His rationality, his skepticism, his confidence, just completely wiped out by the dark.
Utterly annihilated.
So what happens next? He wakes up, presumably.
He does. He wakes up later. It's daylight. His head's bandaged.
So he did hit his head hard.
Seems so. And he's back in that room with the custodians. He's groggy, disoriented.
But the feeling must be different now, in the daylight.
Completely different. That's a key point. In the morning light, the old people, they just seem, well, ordinary.
Not so menacing anymore.
Not at all. He sees them as commonplace old folk enough. Suddenly they're no longer abstracted, no longer terrible. The daylight changes everything.
The atmosphere is gone.
Exactly. And this is where we get the story's real punchline, the core revelation.
The old man, the one with the withered arm, he asks them, doesn't he?
He asks the crucial question, does he believe the room is haunted now?
And the narrator, Mr. Skepticism himself.
He just says simply, yes, the room is haunted.
Wow. Complete turnaround.
But then he immediately clarifies, it's not what they think.
Right. It's not the ghost of the Duke who died there.
No. Or the Countess from the older legends. He says, there's neither ghost of Earl nor ghost of Countess in that room. There is no ghost there at all.
Okay. So what is it then?
But worse, he says. Far worse. Something impalpable.
And he names it.
He names it. The worst of all the things that haunt poor mortal men. In all its nakedness. Fear.
Fear. Just fear itself.
Not a ghost, not some external entity. Fear.
And he describes this fear as the thing that was acting on him?
Yes. He says it's the thing that will not have light nor sound, that will not bear with reason.
The thing that deafens and darkens and overwhelms.
It followed him in the room, it fought against the candles, it extinguished the fire, it's what crushed his mind.
That's a powerful idea. The haunting is the fear.
And then remember the really quiet old man, the one with the shade over his eye?
Yeah, the coughing one.
He lifts his head and he actually confirms what the narrator just realized. He speaks up.
What does he say?
He calls it a power of darkness. He calls it black fear.
Black fear. Wow.
And he says it lurks there always, even in the daytime. You can feel it in the hangings, the curtains. It follows you.
So it's always present in the room.
According to him, yes. Fear itself is in that room. Black fear. And there it will be, so long as this house of sin endures.
House of sin. Interesting detail, but the main point is clear.
Absolutely. Wells takes this classic ghost story setup.
Haunted room, creepy custodians, skeptical investigator.
And completely turns it inward. The haunting isn't external. It's not a specter.
It's internal, psychological.
It's pure primal fear, so potent that it actually manifests in the physical world, or at least in the narrator's perception of it.
It feels real. It becomes the darkness, extinguishes the light, causes physical harm through panic.
The room isn't haunted by something. The room is the haunting. The room is fear.
Which leaves us with a really interesting final thought, doesn't it?
It really does.
I mean, consider this idea seriously, that the most terrifying kind of haunting isn't necessarily some ghost or spirit.
But it's something inside us, an internal state, like this black fear.
A fear so powerful it can feel like a palpable thing, like darkness itself, capable of just overwhelming our reason, our senses.
Yeah. What does that suggest about the power of our own minds? The shadows we can create? Maybe not just in spooky old castles, but, anywhere.